Okay, shine. So, Be'ez Hashem, we'll learn regarding Mikva and Erev Shabbos. So, Mikva in general, this idea to go to the Mikva, but especially in Erev Shabbos. To understand a little what's the idea of why do we go to the Mikva Erev Shabbos? Rechitza, we learned last week already, or last time. Washing yourself is already din of the Gemara. That's already from the Gemara. You should wash yourself with hot water, your face and your hands, and maybe your whole body. Maybe here also. That's already an argument. But regarding to Mikveh itself, we'll see soon that it's more pisod, more according to the deeper sources. But there's definitely a very big need to go to the Mikveh. What do you do in the Mikveh? What exactly should you do? How many times should you immerse in the mikvah? And what should be your intention to go to the mikvah? So we'll learn Be'ez Hashem this idea. So B'klal is very general. Shabbos is Raz the Shabbos. The idea of Shabbos is Olam Ha'achnas, the world of one, the world of unity. And in general, water, in contrast to fire, and this is why Shabbos is much more connected to water, and like Severe Eish Dafke specifically don't have fire on Shabbos, and that's the main malacha that's brought down into the Torah. The Chalak al-Lav says, but that's the main idea of Shabbos is fire, the opposite of fire, to be the opposite of fire. And Hashem al-Yoshev, the whole idea of Mayim, we speak a lot about Mayim, also you'll see in Kabbalah Shabbos about water a lot, because water represents the Alma D'Yichud, the world of unity. That before the beginning of the creation, that the world was submerged in the water, and then when there was Mavla B'Mayim L'Mayim, there's a separation, then there becomes the Rakia, there becomes Bayabasha, becomes the earth, and comes the land mass. So the world in its infancy, in its early stage, which is still Yom Echad, as one, as unity, because everything was created on day one. Everything was created on day one. But on day one, everything was created in a state of Yichud. So that's the world of Yichud. That's Alma Yichud is connected to water. So in general, going into water is an idea already on Shabbos. How does a person experience Yichud within their own selves? What does it mean to experience Yichud in their own selves? So Yichud, the unity within their own selves, is really Rikus HaMachshava. Rikus HaMachshava means that you're centered. Your mind is not scattered. So you can experience unity on many different levels, but the real pneumistic level, maybe to tell the Chavit to quiet down, that the real inner idea of Yichud is to create Rikuz HaMachshava, to create like a certain, that you're not scattered. Because during the week, which is the idea of the week, is that it represents ktsavis, represents edges, so you're bouncing from one end to the other end. That's the idea of Yimais HaChoil. 6 days of the week, so it represents the 6 sides of the cube. So each one you're bouncing from another direction. And then Shabbos is the midpoint, the center. And the center is the rikus, which are places where a person is machshava, is merukah, a person is centered. So being centered, so to enter Shabbos in a correct way, besides doing all the physical preparations that we spoke about, it's very important that we enter the Shabbos, first of all, we said not with nerves, but to be calm, but also inwardly also to have some type of rikus, like, okay, now I'm going to be focused, I'm going to have intention, I'm going to enter into, and I have to try to gain some type of centering. So therefore, in general, the idea of Shabbos is connected to Mikvah. So the first Maramaka that you have is on the Chinabler, and it's the Maranaim in the back. And he speaks over there, he says like this, Ki noida, it's known, that soidam mikveh, the idea of a mikveh means something that's gathered. That's what mikveh literally means. Something that's a gathered body of water. Humalash nasifa. The idea of mikveh means that it's gathered. Ki mikveh hi soid bechinas ahachtos. Because mikveh represents the world of unity, which is that it's connected, it's one. Which is the olam hamachshava, the world of thought. Because it's known, ki noida sheikar adam hu hamachshava. It's known that the Ikar Adam, what makes us unique, the person, the human being, is his machshav, his thoughts, where his mind is. U'makim shel machshavta Adam, and the place where a person's mind is, shamu kulei. That's where a person is. So when you say that the place where a person's thoughts is that's where they are, it doesn't only mean where your thoughts are. Right? It doesn't mean the place where your thoughts are, that's where your thoughts are. But actually you are there because who is the person? Who are you? You're your consciousness, your mind, your presence. So wherever you are in your mind, that's where you actually are. That's what you can't say, I'm here, my physical body's here. Okay, that's a part of me. But where's the mehusa ada, where's the essence of a person, is their thoughts. So wherever your thoughts are, that's where you are. So like this. Therefore, when a person thinks this way and that way, when a person has scattered thoughts, every moment they're thinking another thought, nikr pizar nefesh, that's called pizar nefesh. Pizar nefesh means that a person is scattered. Not that only his machshava is scattered, but his nefesh, his soul, his consciousness is scattered. Why? Ke nefesh ya machshava. Because the nefesh is the machshava. Because the place your thoughts are, that's who you are. So who are you on a very, very deep level? You're your thoughts. The way you think about this world, that's who you are. So if your thoughts are bouncing around from other places, then it's pizar nefesh. Yeah, ruach. Yeah. So that's the pizar nefesh. So what? So kshabal mikva. So then when a person goes into the mikvah, if that's pizar nefesh, the idea is that you're scattered, and the idea of Shabbos is the world of one, which is the asif of everything, the gathering of being present. So when a person goes into the mikvah, they're going to the place of achdus, because the mikvah is a place that's masached the mayim. Right, water is gathered in that place. Because there, in a place, they can gather all your thoughts. Now, it's not just inyan siguli. It's not just like a magical thing. You enter in the place that mikveh. The mikveh represents a place that's holding water. That's gathered water. So all of a sudden your machshava is gathered, but it's visceral. Visceral pshat is that it comes from the experience itself. When a person enters into a body of water, we'll see soon, certainly for longer periods of time, and there's an inyan to be underwater for longer periods of time, there's rikus machshava. Because the reason why a person is generally scattered is because there's nothing grabbing their attention. Let's say, God forbid, a person falls down the steps or hurts themselves. For the first few seconds when you hurt yourself, whether you like it or you don't, you're the biggest Baal Machshava in those few moments, or the biggest Baal Madrega. Why? Because in those few moments, you're completely focused on your pain. If you get someone gets you can get a splinter, and sometimes all you can think about is your splinter. Your whole machshava is about the splinter. Certainly, if it's something more painful, because sometimes something that's done in the body, something physical is done in the body, forces our attention to that particular place. So there's a rikuz in the machshava itself. There's a centering of the machshava through this process, entering into a body of water, a mikveh. So there's an inyan siguli, like a more spiritual, metaphysical, magical idea, which is, since the idea of mikveh means gather. And that's what it represents Olam Ha'achdus. And water represents Olam Ha'achdus, the world of unity. So when you go into the mikveh, you're going Shabbos, you want to go to the place of Achdus, so you enter into the place of unity, so you want to go into the mikveh. But there's an inyan also physically, because when you enter the mikveh, that's going to create this gathering within yourself, because you're going to be focused. Okay, that's it. That's the word. So that's the idea. So he doesn't talk about this dafke with Shabbos, but he says b'chal, this idea of a person needs a rikuz machshava. So besides the tara shabadavar, besides the purity of the idea, is to go into the mikvah. After going into the mikvah, there's famous stories about this. Got the Chassidish Maises and Balamusa stories, where a person has machshavas zaras or machshavas, other different types of machshavas in the mashgiach and mashbiah. The Rebbe tells them to go to the mikveh. You ever heard such maises? These are, I can't remember all the stories, but they're definitely unfortunately stories that people have said over. And the question, what's the kasher? So a person has machshavas zaras and he's bouncing around all different things. Tell the person to go to the mikveh, because what you need the person is to merakis his machshava, to be able to focus on what is real, on what is present. So just a mere act of going to mikveh, besides the tire, besides the purity that happens in the mikveh, the fact that you're going on the water is going to affect that thing. So therefore, on Erev Shabbos, that you want to go from the place of scattered, which is the place where you are during the week, and you want to come to some type of more settled, present place, so then you should go into the mikveh. The actual going into the mikveh itself will be beneficial. Okay, so that's general. Another yisoid, another important thing, is that mikveh is the idea of going into the mikveh is the idea of bittul. That toivel is lashon bittul. That to be toivel in the mikveh, what?
Where's the liftar?
What's that? We didn't get the liftar. We didn't get the liftar. What are you looking at? No, we just started. All right, let's slow. This the whole. You have to go one more day at the next one. We're talking about liftar.
No.
Oh, you're talking about the knife and the chidah and the erchaim. That the idea of mikveh is the idea of bittul, because ois is tovel, ois is bittul. To be tovel something is the idea of nullification. It's the nullification of the eye. So there's an interesting maramakim. So the maramakim that everyone brings down generally is in the Chassidish Svarim. And here's a Chuvas Arivash. The Rivash writes this idea mamish. The Rivash is from the Rishonim, is the Talmud of Iran. So the Rivash writes in a tshuva. This is a famous tshuva because the Rivash holds that it's midaraisa memsa, but that's one thing. But the other thing is, the Rivash writes in the second column. He writes that the mikveh needs 40 saw because it's called psar she kula gufa oilamem. So Chazal say that the reason why it has to be 40 saw is the entire body has to be oil in it, elevated. It's a leimar bottle behem. That oila, why does it say the lashon oila to elevate it? Elevate means it becomes nullified. Malashon talab echad b'meya. When Chazal say that something is that truma is bottle echad b'meya, so it says it's mis'alab echad b'meya. It means when Chazal say something becomes bottle, is nullified in something else, there's an elevation. A person become bottle in that, and that is the idea of a mikveh. So in the mikveh, the idea is that you become nullified, and there's an aliyah, there's an elevation through the process of going to the mikveh. You become nullified. We'll see why you become nullified, but the yeshus, the ego, becomes the existence self, becomes nullified, and then when you become nullified, you can have an aliyah, you can have an elevation. Here's the Sefer Amidas, the next Sefer, the next Maramakim. The way it works is as follows. Ayidei yeshiva b'mikveh tachas hamayim. This is Sefer Amidas, from Nachum. Ayidei yeshiva b'mikveh tachas hamayim, ad shelo yuchal lahachzik ba'atzmei ruach v'neshima, nimta kadin. It's a very Chassidish word, but it's a very important thing, is that he says if you sit in the mikveh under the water for a longer period of time, until you can't hold your breath any longer, actually, and if you do this for a longer period of time, is nimta kadin. Why is it nimta kadin? It sweetens the judgment. Why? Because the judgment, if there's a judgment, there's a certain din, certain judgment on this surah of a person, this form of the person. In order to get rid of the experience, Amtakas Adin, the Amtakas Din is on Chaim Yankel. This is Chaim Yankel. His din is that he should have, no parnasa. You go into the mikveh, you sit under the water, we're land animals, so we need to breathe. So by going under the water, until you can't breathe any longer, you're mizbatel the tsuras adam. That's what you're doing. You're saying, I'm a land animal, I need to breathe. Here I'm going under the water to a place you shouldn't stop breathing. But a point where you feel like you have to start breathing more. At that moment when you feel like you need to breathe, but you're holding yourself in a little stronger, that means you're tipping from the place of a tsuras adam, and you're becoming a different type of tzura. You're nizbatel, you're nullifying yourself now in these waters. And we'll see exactly how this works. But the idea is that physically you're nullifying yourself in this water. The tzura of who you are becomes nullified. And then when you emerge out of that, there's a new person. There's no L'chaim Yankel, it's a different person. It's a Bria Chadasha.
It's going to change for better.
Well, that's what we'll see. Well, that's a good question. This is a very good question. No, yeah, you're right. You're correct. You're talking clean, but how do you know it's going to get better? This is a good challenge. We'll see soon. There's a lot of kavanas, but the kuda is. Yeah, the Mr. Shabbat. That's it. That's exactly. That's the word. That's the Mr. Shabbat.
It's not like tikkun.
No. The fact is, you experience a form of death, which means that the old surah dies. Therefore, the old surah dies that had din is no longer present. Now there could be, and your toivel, you have bittul in the water of Elam Ha'achdus. We'll see how exactly why this works. And once you have bittul in Elam Ha'achdus, the world of unity, then when you emerge out of the mikveh, by the way, you're not tired in the mikveh, right? Because the Mishnah says the tahara comes out of you when you come out of the mikveh. The Tosfos also says this. So the idea is that there's not a tahara, there's just a releasing of the form. Your experience, a releasing of the form. So what this Torah is saying, in a very, very sweet way, it's begashmius. This is what happens begashmius. It's not even, you don't need to revert to some spiritual mechanism that's happening, especially begashmius. When a person goes underwater, certainly if it's a mikveh, but if a person that goes underwater is nimtik din, because the din was on this particular person. And now this surah, there's a bittul surah, there's the nullification of the surah. Now there can be aliyah, another is oila. There can be another higher aliyah of a new type of person that's going to emerge. And therefore the din that was held on this particular person doesn't exist anymore. So this is the process. This is the process. So through the mikveh, they could go this idea. This is the bittul. This is why it's also brought down that the Aboim saw. I should have been down, but I don't see it in the Maramakim here. But there's a Magala Mukis that says that there is 960 Sefer HaMidas. You don't know this? Yeah. So the Magala Mukis writes that there's 960 lugim and 40 saw. And 960 lugim and 40 saw is the amount of hours of 40 days, which is that the idea of the transformation of something. The Torah talks about a transformation. Always when the Torah talks about transformation, it's always 40, the number 40. The 40 days in the mountain, the 40 days in the Bible. Why? Because the 40 represents something that's minizbat tzura, there's a breaking of the tzura, or even a being, a human. A B'tzias Havlad. The Yitzias Havlad is a Boim Yoim. Before Yitzias Havlad, before 40 days, it's Mayim Alma. So the Yitzias Havlad, the transformation of embryo into the fetus, is in the 40 days. 40 days represents the transformation. So it's the look, which is, it's in time, it's in space. The idea is that when you go into this place, there's a bittul of the old surah, of the old form, and there can be emergence of a new higher form. There could be, this is why it's brought down in Tikkun Hazayah, that mikveh has the same place as a kuma. There could be an elevation, that a person goes into mikveh, goes, really the Rivash does the same thing, that it's aliyah. It's an elevation. That you go into the mikveh, you mizbatel your old surah, your old form, and then you come out of the mikveh, there's an aliyah. There's an aliyah, there's a kuma. Tefillah is bittul, correct. Yeah. Okay, Siman and Aleph, this is from the Sefer Lekutim, this is from the Ari. And here he says, Mamish, the Oisius, Leiv Tahar, Bara Elikim. He says that the pure heart you've created from Elikim. Leiv Tahar, Bara, the Rosh Tevis of Leiv Tahar, Bara, the pure heart you've created for me is Rosh Tevis Taval, which is the idea of mikveh. So the Rosh Tevis is mikveh. The Sefer Tevis Bara. And the Sefer Tevis is created. So Leiv Tahar Bara is when the Torah says, when it says in Pasuk Tehillim Leiv Tahar Bara, it's saying the process. First you have a tefillah, first you have the mikveh. You go into the mikveh and you toivel, and once a person is toivel, then there's an aliyah and there's a bria chadasha that you when you're transformed in a higher tzur. There's a Pirush Mishnayos. The Rama writes in Pirush Mishnayos in Para in Gimel. The Rama writes that when a person goes to the mikveh, there's the tahara, the purity of a person that goes to the mikveh is higher than the tahara of the person that never became tameh. Because the person that never become tameh, okay, I never became tameh. But a person that becomes tameh, impure, and then goes in the mikveh and becomes tar, is lefi shah pasik shafet alav shu tar. The Torah says he tar. When a person walks around, never became tameh, never became impure, okay, that's life. But if you betameh and then you went into the mikveh, became tar. So who's making the tahara for you? Now the Torah gives a psak that this person is tahara. So the Rambam writes that the tahara that comes through a mikveh for a person who is tameh, this is almost hassle if I bring the whole line about this. But this idea that dafka person that falls and dafka person that has tameh then goes to the mikveh and has tahara, it's a tahara that's even higher than the regular tahara. This is b'chal this idea. So the idea of going to the mikveh, the idea of immersing yourself into the mikveh is to mizbatel the tzura. You should nullify your tzura, your form, what you're holding on to, so you can emerge differently. And particular Erev Shabbos, we'll see soon, but in particular Erev Shabbos, you have to let go of the choil, obviously, and you have to go into Kodesh. So that's the letting go of the tzura. In general,
And why does it have to require an aliyah in order for the tahara to take place?
but Shat, what do you mean have to aliyah? What do you mean?
It's only by the aliyah from the mikveh where the tahara.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we'll see soon. It has to do with it. It's a lot of shame. It's a lot of
No, I'm saying some of the doctor's got it's the leaving go of.
leaving go is not enough.
process.
We'll talk about it because
Leaving go of the process of tshuva is the fact that it
it's one step.
stays for the.
Exactly, but tshuva is not just charata. There'll also be a kabbalah. You'll see. It's not just you can't just let go. Let go is a nice thing above us. So okay, everyone's talking about letting go, and then what happens? I let go of everything, and then you have to. No, so who are you? So letting go is a good thing. It's part of the process. First, you have to. It's like the sur meira. You have to let go of the negative, but then you have to. If you want to come out tar, you want to come out different. So what's the difference? You have to like assume a certain identity or hope for a certain identity.
From the Havdalah.
Achnaf and Havdalah, same idea. Something. No, I'm talking from Havdalah. I'm talking. The end. The end is like the sweetening. You have to come to a new tzura. You have to come to a new place.
Which then das allein means a story conviction.
Ich weiß nicht.
From what you went through.
That what?
Okay, Shiloh, but that's the best, huh? From what you went through, but the psak from Tayyameng, that give out, you went through.
Yeah, Avada. Yeah, he's asking why dafka when you're coming out.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm saying, but the idea, the Torah is shafat all of this means that the Torah is made, the Torah is made on this person that he's Torah, which is much more stronger than any Torah. Which means what the Rambam is saying, I mean, this is what the Torah is really saying, is that the struggle and the fall is this is what makes a person. And if you want to say a person is really pure and a really person is someone that's Oizgar, but someone that works himself, is not someone that never had a Yetzer Hara. It's not this. Okay, if you never had a Yetzer Hara, so then he didn't. The Torah l'shafat all of this. The Torah never said it. You are Torah. You're born in this way. Okay. So in general, B'chal, there's a holistic Indian called Ispashas Agashmi. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but very, very quickly, it's a din Shulchan Aruch even. And the Torah brings down, and the Simon Tzaddik Chesed says that when it says Chasidim Rishayim Ha'yishayim Sha'achas, they used to daven, they used to wait 1 hour before. So the Torah brings down that they practice something that's called Ispashas Agashmi. Ispashas Agashmi means they divested themselves from their material bodies. What's this? How do you actually? What does this mean? So it's a big conversation, but the very simple is that you disconnect, you disassociate your consciousness or your nefesh from your guf. This is on a very, very simple level, and it also has to be not only your guf, but also from your levushim. But the idea is from your body. You have to learn how to separate yourself from the body. Chaim Vital writes in Shari Kedusha, Chelik Daled, that he's going to tell you all different type of kavanas what you should do, all different type of yichudim, and he says if nothing works, you should know either you didn't do it correctly or you weren't able to mispash it. You weren't able to do this. So ispash saguf. Now, when there's different times of the day that this is more easier for people if they're not really familiar with this. But an example of an easier time to do ispash saguf physically is when you go to sleep. If you go to sleep in a bed, I'm not saying if this is the way you go to sleep and you're very, very tired, and you fell asleep on the couch and you want to go into the bed, it's a very good time to do ispash saguf. Why? Because you're schlepping to get to the bed. You're schlepping your body. Yeah. Today, people have beds that already you have to climb up, like with 15 stairs. I don't know. You have to get up to your bed. It's not as a pasha. So the idea is when you're getting into bed, this is like you can do this. It's very simple. Very simple, but it's kind of simple. As you're climbing into bed, imagine your body is very heavy and it's schlepping. You can't schlep it into the bed. You ever feel like your body, like I want to get there, but I don't have strength. Are you familiar with this phenomenon? You're not familiar at all. Oh, okay. I thought maybe I haven't had this to you. But so you're trying to get somewhere. You're trying to get into the bed. Your body's holding it down. So you should utilize this. What you should utilize is you should say, Taka, like, okay, stay here. Let me go into my bed and let my body get there. Now, of course, your body eventually schleps up with you, and you're lying on your bed. And when you're lying in your bed, when you feel very tired, your body is very heavy, and it feels like it's sinking into the bed. I'm giving you a mukhshistic experience, and you feel like your body is like being very heavy into your bed. So use it, And what you should do is, if you want to do a spashas aguf, you can actually more easily say, okay, this is my body. This is the very dense matter of my guf, of my body, and here it's laying, and I'm going to rise above it. And if you can do this correctly, whatever, some level, you can actually have some type of spashas where you can actually see yourself lying on your bed. This is something, I don't want to say you should practice it, but this is definitely a way to train yourself if you want to practice spashas aguf. This idea of ispashtus aguf is used, if you use it when you go to sleep, you're using the physical phenomena that you're feeling in the body, using the physical phenomena to facilitate, to create a process within your consciousness. Right? So you're saying everything has to be used to avoid Hashem. So you're feeling very tired and you have to schlep into your bed. Okay, so use it. Don't say, okay, I'm going to go to bed. Say, okay, so this is going to be an avoid in itself. What's going to be the avoid? The avoid is I'm going to be able to be spashed for my goof. I'm going to feel my body heavy, 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 dropped. Okay. The same idea is also with going to the mikveh. And not only when you go into the mikveh, but the whole process of going into the mikveh. That the process of going into the mikveh is slow, which means to go into the mikveh, you have to do a few basic things. Yeah, the first normal basic thing you have to take off your clothes. L'chura. That's the first thing you have to do. Second thing you have to do is when you go into the mikveh, you're not allowed to be koifetz. You're not allowed to jump into the mikveh. Right? So you have to go slowly. So everything's been done meticulously. Now, if you take what you're doing on a physical level and think about it, what it's doing actually more bepnimius, you can actually use this to do ispashas agashmi, the actual process of taking off your clothes. So there's an idea. First of all, this is already mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says you shouldn't put on two begadim biyachad because it's kashal l'shikha. But the Kamar Natan is in Shulchan Torah that it's also with regards to taking off clothes. There's no makar, but Hitainis, it's the same idea that you shouldn't take two garments off at the same time. You shouldn't take your shirt and your jacket off at the same time. You should take your jacket off and take your shirt off. Which means there's a seder. When you want to take things off, that's take it off slowly. When you're taking things off slowly, this is also brought down in Shulchan Aruch. Baltar brings down Shulchan Aruch that about taking off your shoes, that you start with your shoes and you take off your left shoe first, which means everything is going to go bahadraga. Every time you take off a garment of clothes, if you're really a little bit like aware of what you're doing, you're unburdening yourself. You're taking off the guf, kaviyachal, is levush to the neshama. It's also a garment. Right? This is what it says in Svarim, that this is why all the Rishon didn't need any levushim, because there was such achdus that the levushim itself, the guf was the levushim for his neshama. The multi was the period. Then the guf itself needed a levush. But be'emes, the levush is a guf. Levush is a garment. So by taking off your levushim and doing it bahadraga, you're doing step by step, the process of taking off your things, you can do a mekal hakavod. So this has got there's different ways how to do this. It's not so clear. How does a person take off their garments? They do it from the top down or the bottom up. Now we're not talking about the untervesh, what's underneath. We're talking about the pants, the shirt, etc. So if you look in the next one, there's actually two makayos for this. That in Derech Eretz Zuta and Derech Eretz Rabba. And in Derech Eretz Zuta, which if you're familiar, these are the little mesechtas in the back of the Zohar, that it says before Peir Tes, a few lines before that when you go to the Merchatz, you first take off your shoes. Yeah. First then you take off your mechnasayim, your pants, and then you take off your shirt. Okay, so you go from the bottom up. In Mesechtas Derech Eretz Rabba, where it says Anichnas Lebecha, someone that goes into to the Merchatz, it says so Matis Chagurai, you take off your belt, Poishtes Chalukai. Then you take off your lower garments. But first you take off your shoes. Then you take the lower garments. So it's not so clear. It's a big conversation amongst certain people. masking exactly how we should do this. But in general, the general is the principles of Kala Lakovid. Dressing, you always dress from the top down. But there's a difference actually. There's minig Ashkenaz, minig Chassidim. But generally, the minig Chassidim is to dress from top down. It has to do also with how you dress a nifter. So you should do it a little different. So you do the top down, which you put on your shirt, and then you put on your pants. And the undressing is first the pants and then the shirt. So you go from the bottom up and then from the top down. And you do also left first. If you can, if you have two hands, you do the left first. What the idea is that when you're poshet b'gadim, when you're taking off your garments, it's not just the physical act that you're taking off b'gadim. You also have to think that machshava di b'maisa, a person's machshava di b'maisa is levushim. His thoughts, his words, and his actions are his levushim, which means these are the garments of your nefesh. When a person is poshet as b'gadim, you take off your shoes. You could think about, if you want, because you're taking this slowly, because you're not doing biyacha, you're not doing, just kicking off your shoes and running. You're doing it slowly. So you take off your shoes, you'll say, so what does shoes represent? In the B'chal, the Torah, shoes represents mastery, and an Eved is someone that ties someone's shoes to his rabbi, and Yosef's brothers bought shoes. So the idea of shoes represents mastery. That's why you take off your shoes on Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur, whatever. So you can think about what shoes are. So you say, okay, I'm letting go of that thing. I don't have to take control of everything. You take off your machnasayim, you can think about something else. Another thing that you're getting off. Every time you take off another levush, every time you're taking another garment, you can think about you're peeling another part of yourself. You want to do ispashtus. But ispashtus is not just the physical ispashtus of the guf, separating from your guf. You want to separate from all the mishagas, everything that's going on in your life, right? You want to be poishet surah. To get into the mikveh, you should have his chachas. You should become leif tahar, bar likim. It should be a bria chadash. It should be a new creation. So as you're going to say, I'm going to let go of this thing. I'm going to this guy is bothering me. I'm going to let go of this thing. This person is nudging me. I'm going to let go of this thing. So as you're unburdening yourself physically from your levushim and taking off your garments, you should be physically thinking that I'm also going to let go of these and these things. One beged on their own. You could do the harder things, the easier things first, and then the harder things. And then when you go into the mikveh, then you're completely without any levushim, without any garments. So the halach is you're not allowed to jump into the mikveh. Hakoyf is the mikveh is a meguna. It's the Ram voice perk aleph halach ches. And there's a rivash on this. The Kesem Bishop is on the rivash. Even a kavanah mikveh. Even if you want to go into the mikveh, you want to get a geshmak mikveh, you still shouldn't jump into the mikveh. It's near Kameka or whatever, other reasons. But in the way we're talking about is the idea of going down slowly is the process. You feel like your feet are being held by the mikveh, then other parts of your body, until you become completely submerged in the mikveh. If you want to completely let go of everything, so you have to go through step by step. Step by step is actually the process of getting on the levushim, getting the clothes off, and also the process of going slowly into the mikveh. If you jump into the mikveh, there's no ispashas because everything is quick. But if you do it slowly, meticulously, and slowly, you say, okay, now I'm surrounded here, now I'm surrounded here, now I'm surrounded here, now I'm completely submerged. And that's a complete letting go of the begadim of your garments. And this is what it's brought down in the Seichel Shabbat. Huh? No. It means if you go out of the mikveh. Yeah. It's the same thing that you didn't do full time. No, we'll see a lot of how many times you go to the mikveh. We'll see soon. The next is we didn't talk about kavanas yet. Where we talking about kavanas? What are we asking? So we're going to say soon. We're going to say soon the kavanas. We didn't get to the kavanas yet. This is just to get into there. So you're going into a matzah, you're saying, I want to experience these pashtas, I want to let go of the big dechol. Big dechol is the begadim of everything that's bothering you throughout the entire week. All the machshavah d'ramaisa, all the thoughts, actions, and the burim that are connected to the week. I want to let go of all these things. So as I'm poshet levushim, the pashtas on levushim could be something that if you do this correctly, you're mispashet. Okay, I'm taking off my jacket, that's my outer garments, taking off my inner garments, and I'm letting go, then I can go in. So that's why it brings down the Seichel Shabbat. It brings down Chenin is a nimit tefillah. Make sure I'm talking about Shabbos Kodesh. You know what you say the Seichel Shabbat is? Okay, okay. For the Chassidim also, you should know that the Baditchever, huh? Yeah, okay. The other one doesn't know. Okay, he was a Litvish gadol, a tzaddik, very a balamusar, the times of the Gra. a little right after the Gra.
Can you go to the market?
So this is the Maisa. He was a businessman and he was very rich, and then he lost his money and he became a Kaddish. He lived in a backyard, and the Talmidei HaMagid gave Askama. If you look today and you say this the Baditchva gives Askama. So it's like a sefer that was written by a lit, but it was a skabel completely by Chassidim and he was connected to Talmidei HaMagid. But he was a parish. He had nothing to do with anybody. He lived in a sack in a little hut behind his house. So he writes over there that he brings up in Pri Etz Chaim that he brings on a whole aricha, but this is the nekuda. Tfilas shana toim Shabbos Kodesh that the Reb Chaim Vital writes. Sarach little based tfilas. One is livshut big dechoil, and then laham shachol tois Shabbos. So first is the idea of ispashtus, the ispashtus of big dechoil, and then the gathering of big Kodesh. Let's preempt this a little bit. If you go to the bottom over here, he brings out from the Zohar. This is the Zohar we learned last time. This is Zohar Vayakal. It's a long arichas about Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, and Motzei Shabbos, and Avdallah. So the Zohar said, Kad al Shabbat yitzichu amen kadishu l'sachar germayu b'shemush dechoil. That when Shabbos comes, Klal Yisrael has to cleanse themselves from the garments of the levushim of choil, and therefore, because the ruach achara azla v'shata v'shara alma, throughout the week there's a certain type of ruach that's present in the world. And when a person wants to have a higher level of ruach, a higher level of levushim, they should go to the mikvah. According to this Zohar, not the way the Ari reads it, is one time. One time. So how many times do you have to immerse yourself? You have to immerse yourself one time. You go one time, you mispasha yourself in the Lush HaChoil, you get off the Lush HaChoil. That's the Iker. The Iker is the getting rid of what you came in with. You're coming with a lot of anxieties and things and business things that are in your head. So you go into the mikveh, you say, let me mispasha myself from these ideas, and then I'll emerge. Later, Reb Chaim Vital B'Shem Ari writes in Shar Kavanos, writes in Pri Etz Chaim, that you should do two immersions. The one immersion, the one tefillah, there's a brother Mishmar Shalom, there's one other svarim b'shem Baal Shem, that the Baal Shem guarantees one tefillah. You ever heard this? That even if it's ein tefillah kedushat means it's on him. That the Baal Shem says even if you come to a mikveh, it's very cold or it's not so clean, whatever. Today, already we don't have such problems, but years ago, if you remember mikvahs, it was an issue. So the Baal Shem says, "Alive al tzavar, you have one mikveh." But emes, this idea already says in Reishis Chachma. Reishis Chachma Shar Ava writes that also, that if you go one mikveh, that Hashem will protect you for the one tefillah. So there's any to go one tefillah. Even at Shabbos, one tefillah. That's the minimum amount. The Arizal writes that you should go really two tefillahs. One tefillah is, and that's what he brings down, two tefillahs. One is to take out tefillah livshe big the choil, and the other one is to makabel Tosei Shabbos. So one is to take out the choil, the livshe choil, the garments of choil, and one is then to draw in the livshe kodesh. The Shalach Kodesh writes, it's one tefillah. Ashlas one tefillah. Well, we don't know. Well, it doesn't. Well, we don't know the number. It doesn't say. Doesn't say. So the Shalach Kodesh writes, and Tess on the bottom, that the Kamfa Yonah Matzasi Sham Bezal Lashon, the Kamfa Yonah is from the Maram Bepanum. HaToivel Erev Shabbos and Mincha L'Maylev Kushu B'Seicha Mayim Mishtachel L'Mayrev. You should Mishtachel L'Mayrev. You should you should crouch on the water towards west. And if you don't know exactly where you are, so Yitztar B'Daita Baruchas, and the Yoimar you should say, I am toivel to mispashet and levush choil. There's a guy that the Shalom brings us down another place. He says v'yomer b'liboy. It doesn't say v'yomer because you're on the water. What do you mean you can't speak? If you're under the water, you're not going to be able to speak. So v'yayim b'liba, you should say Harei Mekabel and this to Mekabel levush malbush. But this is under the water. So you're bowing under the water, you're crouching on the water, and then v'imu mezaka areya. Here came Asha Mailam Mitzapani Yadav. We said this last time that if a person is mamish mezaka areya, if you're elevated, you're actually going to see like a certain spark, a certain asha, a certain mist leaving your ruach, leaving your fingernails, which we spoke last time, because the fingernails makma klipa. So there's the idea that you're going to see this. Literally, metaphorically, in a meditative state, there's some type of thing you're able to see it. I just want to say that even though these are very hechin yonim, Shat is Yirkein, Asham, Maila, Petzufim, Ketanim, what are you going to say? You're going to start seeing things in the mikveh. If you do this correctly, without any Geisazachim, you'll also see it. I don't say you're going to see it. I can't say you're going to like see exactly the color of the smoke leaving your fingernails, but you're going to feel yourself released. You're going to feel like a certain releasing of from choil. That's the year. It's a pneumistic year. You feel like from the fingernails, which is the ksavas, that the edges, the places of the clip, everything just like letting go. You're going to feel softer, right? You're not going to be so hard and so dense and so ungitzoyim. This is what should happen in the mikveh. And then he says it's also connected to Zachav V'Shamer. It's also the Zachav V'Shamer. That is also the Zachav V'Shamer. And go down to the bottom, to this test. I mean, towards the end. And then he says that Kishi Yilbash B'Gadim, we're going to talk later about this, but this is like the second step. After you go through the whole process and you're in the mikveh, so then you have to be Malbush B'Gadav. Then you have to ready to return and put on new garments. So when you're Malbush B'Gadav, which is Ksus Nikir, which now is a new fresh start, it's a Bria Chadash, it's your new being. So Yemer Kol Yotzor Alayach Lo Yitzliach. Now you should mechaven this pasuk. Then nothing could affect you. Anything nothing's going to you. Now you're protected. You're entering into Shabbos. So the nekuda you're seeing from the shalah is that there's that the nekuda you're seeing from the shalah is that there's an ending. You have to end it, just like you took off your begadim. And that was a process of getting rid of things and letting go. You have to eventually put on your begadim. The putting on the begadim is also already, you already went the second mikveh. You're ready in the second dip, and then the second immersion. So you makabel the levushim of kedusha, of kodesh, of Shabbos. So now you can say, you can say nothing's you're going to be protected. So there's a process. It's not just you're running to the mikveh, you're coming out. It's gestalt. You understand? You're going with the seder. You're going. Letting go of one thing, letting go of the other thing, letting go of the other thing. I'm going into the water. We'll see what we do in the water. So we didn't get to the kavanas. You get into the water. I'm letting go. I'm becoming new. I come out. Then I put on new begadim. It looks like it could be the same begadim, but it's a different begadim in certainly how I'm wearing them. And I have I'm assuming a new reality. I'm entering into Shabbos in a new way. Okay.
Is there Indian talking to a new talking?
For Shabbos.
Nothing
So there is an Indian. There is an Indian that's brought down. And if you can't do it mamish, it's kedai to take even just socks or something, just something. Always, sometimes you do something with a little bit. That's an akuda. Yeah. So this is the idea of two immersions, to go on twice. There's a reason. There's also Indian to go 3 times in the mikveh. That the next Marmakan brings down the Shalosh. You should go 3 times. The Shalach Kaddish also on Masech the Shabbos. We have to tzarich litful Shalosh pa'am tefillah rishayna laha v'zumas havanis. Achar shtei tefillos keneg nasa nishma. It's another way. So you do, one is to get rid of everything of the weekday. And then one is Nasa, one is Nishma. I mean, Zachav V'Shamer. No, it says Nasa Nishma. Nasa Nishma. Okay, that's the same idea we had Zachav V'Shamer before. And then he brings down the whole other shtickle. Yeah. Okay. It's 3 times Nefesh Ruach V'Shamer. Also 3 times L'chal is it's brought up from Yudah Chassid. But this is not going to get a Shabbos. it's brought down from Yehuda Chassid. This is from Seida Mikva.
Someone's table 3 times, he's table 3 times to be Poshet Surah and 3 times to be Leivish.
We'll see soon. This,
Or
what?
first one is
No, Poshet
Leivish,
Leivish.
and then
Yeah.
Neshama is
Neshama said, yeah, correct. We'll see soon. There's going to be some sources that say Afghan 9 because of that. You place it Leivish and each one is separate. But we'll see soon if we get to Be'ez Hashem. The Yehuda Chassid B'chal brings, it's brought down from Yehuda Chassid in Sefer Chassidim that B'chlal Mikva on Erev Yom Kippur. You should be toivel 3 times. It's keneged the 3 types of averas, 3 types of sins, a chet, oven, a pesha. And therefore, every time you should mechaven, you should that you're getting rid of another avera. And actually, that doesn't say in Sefer Chassidim. It's brought down b'shem Yehuda Chassid. But in the Yehuda Chassid, it brings down that it's a minhag for women to go taka 3 times to the mikvah. And the reason is because it's the 3 times that it says Tara and the Seder Avayna Kohen. And it's also the word mikveh appears 3 times in the Torah. Not mikveh, gaba mikveh, mikveh. The word, maya, mikveh maya, right. The word mikveh doesn't say in the Torah, you know that. It's Chazal, but it's not Torah, but it's Chazal. It doesn't say anywhere you go into a mikveh. Okay. It's brought down a Svarim, Madavke by Erev Shabbos. It's also brought down Shulchan Aruch, the Magen Avraham brings down. And the Shabur, if you do the Erev Yom Kippur. Okay. This Maramakim is, so it's Nefesh, also Nefesh Ruch Neshama. You can do this Nefesh Ruch Neshama, that you push it, your the Malbish Levushim, for your Nefesh, your Ruch Neshama. Maybe the first Maramakim is not the Yisoy Rav. Okay, this is the Yisoy Rav for sure. This Maramakim is Yisoy Rav. I think the first one's also. So, he says, Vitol akopanim lepachsim gimel tefillas. B'shem Ari, that you should go 3 times, 3 immersions. But the Roiva Oilam, this is Yisoy Rav. That Noigim Litval Dalet tefillas keneged Dalet Ois Shem Avaya. That you should go Dalet tefillas because it's Dalet Ois Shem Avaya. Dalet Ois Shem Avaya means that it's that, and also that rewrites it that the 4 sides, we'll see soon, the 4 sides is Yud Kei Vavke. So Dalet Ois is since it's Yom Shabbos Lashem, so you're mechaven 1 Yud Hey, then the Vav, then the Hey for each tefillah. 4 tefillahs keneged Shem Avaya. That's another makar. And the makar, the also brings down in the Menorah Zav, it's what's that? Yeah, because this is according to the Dari. The Ari did their chitza. That the Ari did their chitza after the mikvah. Yeah, but we spoke about it. There's two ways how to do it. You can do the chitza. Hot and cold, right? But this is different. This is you doing cold and hot. But it's not. You're not immersing. You're not immersing yourself. It's just part of a raglov.
People don't know that you're not allowed to go into the Rosh Hashanah with the Ram Shuvim after the mikvah.
Avada nicht. Right. Okay. So this is the idea of 4. 4 also is brought down. Also, the Menorah of Zav is a position. It's not much a sefer a position, but it's a collection of Torahs that connect to their position on the folder. But he brings down a lot of the things. It's from different Makaras. But he brings down, first of all, brings down about which he said before, the 960 Lugim, which is Yitzir Savlad. But on the end of the page, he brings down.
What's 960 Lugim?
47 960 Lugim, yeah.
How many Baim is it? How many Lugim?
No, every saw has 4 kavim, right? And the kav is 6 lugim. Okay. Anyways, but if you look at this, on the bottom he says, okay, this is a whole gematria. You can figure this out, I'm sure. But then he says on the bottom, you should go dafke 4 immersions, neged dalet ois Shem Avaya. And Vishamati that Shesichim Letzai Shem Avayim Machshavtim Mishas Tefillah Mechaven Yud A Vav, and Dafke Hey. This is the idea also to go Dafke for emergence in Amchav Hashem Hashem. The Divrei Chaim, it's brought down Hashem Divrei Chaim, that he did 4 tefillas, Keneged Dal Mrs. Bezin. So it's a little harsher, but it's the same idea. The idea is that I'm going through this process of Ki'ilu Misa. I'm going through this process. I'm letting go. Mamish, I'm mechaven all these things. I'm completely letting go of my old surah. I even went through fire and water, etc. All the Dal Misses. And now I'm emerging a new thing for Shabbos. So the emergence to come into a new place. Now comes the big one. The big one is 5. Huh? They're not Isis. We'll see soon. There are going to be Maluim. There's going to be Shema. We'll see. We'll get a. Let's try to do the 5. I don't know if we have time for this, but this is a big thing. We'll try to do this. 5 is this. This is Kavanas and Mikva from Malshem. What? Sevenzer. What do you mean? Sevenzer. What do you mean? There's no. One day you're feeling this. One day you're doing this. But you can't say what. It's not Eila ve'Elo. It's Eila ve'Elo badid, nish b'yanim. One day you come to the mikveh, you feel like you really need a real cleansing. So you do Dal Mrs. Bezin. One day you come in, you say, I need to get through my machshavas are holding me down. Okay, so do one tefillah. No, the ones that we're talking about are Erev Shabbos, but some of them we can apply to everything. They can apply to every day. We'll see some. Baal Shem is not going to be the Kavanas of Baal Shem on mikveh is not lavdak for Erev Shabbos. It's a different sugya, but it could be connected. You see it before. You saw the Maram Makom before, and the Maram Kaim. Yeah, that's from the Ziddush. So there's definitely an idea also. But Maram Kaim also is carry is yesh. It's yeshes. So carry is levatel the yesh. It's the same idea. So the mikveh is someone else. No, so you know who wrote the mikveh? Okay, so you have to not listen. He'll tell you later.
It's from it, what?
He'll tell you later.
It's from a sefer.
It's a sefer, so the mikveh. So five tefillas is the Indian. The Rebbe says you should go 5 tefillas, but you'll see soon. The Kavanas and mikveh of the Baal Shem. Let's try to learn this Kavanas and mikveh. Kavanas Baal Shem is printed. It's in Pri Haaretz, it's in Shabbos.Rav. The Alter Rebbe brings down the Siddur. The Kavanas and mikveh.
This Shabbos.Rav is not Shabbos.Rav Azulai.
No, this is Avram. Avad. It's different. It's very different. Very different. Very different. The Kavanas and mikveh of the Baal Shem is very original. It's not Kavanas Ari. There's even a Maisa. There's a famous Maisa that the Baal Shem was once teaching his Talmud in his Kavanah. It's repeated in many Svarim. And the Pri Haaretz and Chesed Avram, we spoke about this once, Baruch. I don't know if you remember. Yes, we'll see soon. But the Pri Haaretz and the Chesed Avram were both Rebbes of the Alter Rebbe. And they all bring, and the Pri Haaretz, that's why the Pri Haaretz and Chesed Avram, the Torah is very similar. I don't know if you're familiar, but the Pri Haaretz is one of the most edelest Svarim in the world. Pri Haaretz is the Menel Vitebsker. It's very, very, very edel Torahs, very sichlistic edel Torahs, and the same otokivun, the same style is Chesed Avram Amalach, which is Talmud, a son of the Maggid. And the Alter Rebbe, after the Maggid was nifter, first wrote a Ksavis Kashrus together with Reb Zusha, Ksavis Kashrus of Avram Amalach, and then Avram Amalach said that I can't do this, and they wrote a Ksavis Kashrus to Mendel Vitebsker. So you see, it's the same, and that's why you look in Chesed Avram today. They have shtiklach from Pri Haaretz, and Pri Haaretz has shtiklach from Chesed Avram because it's the same thing. So it's very, very similar to it's very, very darkistic Torahs. So this is a Torah from the Baal Shem. The Kavanas of Baal Shem is different than Kavanas Ari. And I'll tell you this Kavanas of Baal Shem. Bekitzer, the story is a famous story. The Baal Shem was once repeating this Kavanah, these intentions for Mikva, and the Talmidim started arguing with him. The Arizal writes differently. The Kavanas, this, the different things, and the Baal Shem was quiet, and his head tilted backwards, and he went into a state of dveikus, and Talmidim were sitting with in a pachad, and then Nachman Hardonke fell asleep, and he had a dream. And his dream, he was in some spiritual world, and they say the Rebbe is going to say Torah. He says, "Vacher Rebbe," no one's answering him. So the Rebbe is on Torah, and everyone's running and running and running. And so he also runs. He runs, and he comes to a big room, and everyone's running, and all of a sudden the Baal Shem walks in, and the Baal Shem says the Kavanas HaMikva, and the Yid gets up and starts arguing with the Baal Shem, and they argue for a half hour in his dream. And it's a young looking man, and he asks in the dream, who is the person that's arguing with Baal Shem? It's Dari. And he's arguing. Finally, Dari agrees with the Baal Shem that that's Taka Kavana, and that the Baal Shem is right, and he wakes up. And then the Baal Shem goes out of his dveikus and says, he tells him, Nachman, if you want to say anything to the Elam before we continue. So
That's the one that asked the question.
no, other Talmidim were asking. They were all asking because it was a very unfamiliar. It's not familiar. So, and he was mechavan this, and this is the Maisa. This is Kavanas Baal Shem. It's very unusual because we have very little Kavanas Baal Shem. So it's a very unique and special. So let's read. Kishabala Mikva. There's 5 tefillas. You can do 5 tefillas. So Kishabala Mikva. Yechaven Mikva Shem Kufna Aleph. That the mikveh is gematria. The numeric value of the word mikveh is 151, which is Shem Eka Aleph Hey Yud and Hey. B'milah, because how do you get to 151? You do Aleph Lamed Pei, which is 111. Hey is 10. Yud Vav Dalet is 20. Hey is 10. Together is 111, 10, 20, and 10 is Kuf Nun Aleph. So the name Shem Eka, which is the name of becoming, which is Keminya Mikva. Ve'ike Yechaven Sha Mikva Tachtoine Shanu Toivlen Boy Hu Ba'atze Shem Kna. Which means that the mikveh that we're going to, the mikveh that we're immersing in, is the name Shem. This is the name of this name. The Shem Kufnun Aleph, which is the name of Shem Eka b'miluyoy, the fullness of Shem Eka, is the mikveh. Means that it's madroga, and means that the Shem is on the spiritual realm. The physical embodiment of Shem Eka. This world is this thing. So when you're going to the mikveh, you're going to Shem Eka. Which is Shem Eka. Shem is the name of becoming. So what do you do? V'yitlo pam achas v'yichavim Shem kenal be'eis b'shashu tachas hamayim. So you mechaven the Shem Eka that when you're under the water. It's a Shem of Aleph Hey Yud Hey. The name of becoming. Becoming means Eka. So Eka, it's not yet. It's yeah. V'achakach yichaven Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph. That's Shem Agla. Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph is Ata Gimel Elam Hashem, which is Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph. Shu Shem Agvur is a Yitzim Rashtev. Oh, it says Rashtev the Pasuk Ata Gimel Elam Hashem. V'yitvel Pam Shpeiz yichaven Shem Anal. Okay, so the second Shem that you're going in, the first Shem is Shem Eka. The second Shem is Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, which is At Gimel Elam Hashem. At Gimel Elam Hashem means the Shem Agla. The Shem. This name is connected to Gvuras, which means it's and you say it by Gvura, right? It's said by the second Tefillah, so it's the Shem of Gvura. Now, then. This Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, Yishmechaven after this, Yechaven Shem Aleph Lamed Dalet. Yishmechaven the Shem Aleph Lamed Dalet. Aleph Lamed Dalet is one of the 72 letter names of Hashem. V'yechaven Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, Nasem Aleph Gimel Dalet. V'nasa Shem Eled. That the Agla brings to Shem Eled. What does that mean? That the Gvuras, the hardships that you're going through, the struggles that you're going through will bring to your birth. So first, the general kavana is Shem Aleph Hey Yud Hey and Shem Kufnun Aleph, which is that Bechlal I can be birthed from new. That's what Tchis HaMesim Dafkin Shem Agla. But the Shem Agla, the Chiddush of the Baal Shem, is that the Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph becomes the Shem Aleph Lamed Dalet. That's where he brings on from the Tolas, he brings on from the Degel. That's a name. The Shem Aleph Lamed Daled. The woman has to needs to give birth to be Meilut. She should mechaven this name because it's the name that brings about birth. But the birth that comes through tension, through hardship, huh? Yeah. So first the Shem Eket is the first thing, right? Then the Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph. The Shem Aleph the Lamed Aleph, which is the din, the Gvuris, is now the Amtakas Adin, which becomes now the place of birth, which in very simple language, 1,000 times lower, means that the tension and the hardships is what actually brings about the birth. The friction brings about the birth. We actually spoke about this once. I don't know if you remember that from the Pinchas Karitza that he says that Vayev Yaakov l'Rachel and then Kiakari. Because it was too much. There was only love. But then when it says Rachel, then it says Vatar Rachel. Because once there was a separation, there was a circle friction, there was a circle tension, that was allowed for the birth. In order for something birth, and really, in order for you to be birthed, really, you have to go through a tzimtzum. That's the bria. The bria was that tzimtzum creates ispashtus. The contraction, the gvuris, it brings about the creativity, the creation. So Shem Aleph Lamed Daled is created through the Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph.
You're connecting the Aleph.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Vi nas Shem Aleph Yitul Pam Gimel V'chaven Shem Aleph. Yimechaven Shem Aleph Lamed Daled. Yimechaven the Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph becomes Aleph Lamed Daled. So first Shem Eke, then Shem Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, then Shem Aleph Lamed Daled. Okay. V'acha Yitul Pam Daled. B'shashu Roish Tachas Hamayim. Yishalev Hashnei Shemes Eke V'el Aleph Lamed Daled. Then you mishal the two names. Because Eke, let's stick with it. Eke is the name, is the koyach. That's why Eke is Shem Keser. Eke is the name of the koyach to bring about the creation. Shem Elid is the creativity itself. But what's the koyach? What's the power to create Shem Aleph Lamed Daled? Is Aleph Hey Yud Hey. Because that Aleph Hey Hey Lamed Yud Daled Hey Daled. So you write out the full name. That's Shem Eilu v'Shem Eke.
The hey, I'm not getting out what the shiluf is.
No, the hey is because it's the end. There's no more, because Aleph Hey Yud Hey has two heys. Correct. You mishalev the Yud Hey. I wanted to see what's going on. That's you mishalev the Aleph Yud. The Aleph Hey and Yud has three letters. Aleph Lamed has three letters, but the Hey you have a final Hey. So therefore you do the Hey from the Aleph Hey Yud Hey. Right.
So the Aleph Lamed Daled is the beginning, middle, and end. And then he's putting in. Then
by the end, he just throws in the final two hays because you have two extra letters from the fourth letter of Aleph Yud Kei of Eke. V'yichaver sadav shespal avur shebesech Hashem hazeh who nimtek she'al oisek in iskaliyah. You should mechav what you mispal. You mispal the Shem Eke that's going to bring about the new creation. You mechav this new creation, and now it's mechav that it's going to be through the Shem Eke that's going to be created the Eled. Then v'yitul pam hey. This is the fifth tefillah. V'yishalav Hashem Eke poshet. Is Shem Aleph Lamed Daled. Then you're going to Mishala the name Eke, which is the pshittas of Shem Eke, which means only Aleph Hey Yud Hey, not Aleph Lamed Pei Hey Hey Yud Vav Daled Hey Hey, but just the pshittas of with the Atam Elohim. Shushem Aleph Lamed Daled, which is Aleph Lamed Daled. Kazeh Aleph Hey Lamed Yud Daled Hey, and then what this means is Vichavel Aleph Sadav Shespal Azmedei Galil Bina. Wait a second. Okay. Then this is the fifth tefillah. In this fifth tefillah, what's the difference is that in the fifth tefillah, you're not talking about the potential of Aleph Hey, Yud Hey, which will give rise to the creation of Aleph Lamed Daled. You're actually talking about the Aleph Lamed Daled, which is already birthing. It's already birthed. It's Pasha. This is the way it is. It's already delayed. And the person should mechaven the madregat, which you're mechaven to it, you should bring it up to the name of Bina, which means you should do it b'das. You're doing it with intention. When you do it with intention, as nasa kol chesed rachmi geburim. Then you drew there's amtakas adin b'sharshay, which is the ilma Bina, in the world of Bina. Which means when I do this kavana of these four names, when you do the kavana with these five names, there actually can be delayed. Okay, Bekitzer, what is he saying? I mean, this is a lot to think about, but Bekitzer, what the Baal Shem says is like this. You need to let go and you need to recreate. These are the two things, right? in the process of going into mikveh, you need to let go of the old levushim choil, and put on big kodesh. You need to let go of your old problems, if it's kas or anger, whatever the issues that you're dealing with, and you have to immerse yourself to allow yourself to receive something new. So you have to let go and recreate. The possibility of the recreation first comes to yispashtus. You mispashed yourself in the goof. You mispashed yourself. You let go of all the things. You let go of all your garments. You let go of everything. You enter into the mikveh empty. In the mikveh, the first thing you have to mechaven is that in this place of emptiness, I actually have the potential of creating everything. Everything that I need, all the brachas I need, all the problems that I'm dealing with, I can let go of all these things, and there can be a new tzur, there can be a pashat tzur of a lavish tzur. You can have a new tzur, a new form that is going to be created. What's the koyach that gives the person the possibility of recreating this new tzura? This is beklolos is Shem Eka, because this is a name of becoming, which is the possibility, the recreation. In the Shem Eka, the Baal Shem ties in the Shem Aleph Gimel Lam Lav and the Shem Elad that you should actually think about it in a very practical ways. Not I'm becoming. What are you becoming? Say I'm struggling with this particular issue in my life. I'm struggling with parnasa. I'm struggling with health. Whatever the issues that I'm struggling with. So you mechaven, I could become anything. I let go of all this surah. I have the koyach of Shem Eka to the possibility to create everything new. What's giving me the potential now to create something new? And not only should I create something, I have to start thinking about what the new that's being created in the final tefillah is the Shem Agla, which is the recognition of the tsar, of the hardship, the gvuras, at the Gibur Hashem, the gvuras that you have. But then the gvuras, I understand that the reason why I'm going through this hardship is to bring me to a higher place, to bring me to a deeper place, a deeper understanding, or a higher place of parnasa, a higher place of health. So that's going to bring the elad. So not only am I thinking in the fourth tefillah that it's going to be the created of Aleph Lamed Daled, that it's going to be birth. I'm actually creating the birth there is a birth already. There's already a new tzur that I'm already forming in my head. What's the new? As I'm emerging out of the mikveh, what is going to be the new me? Bekitzer, this kavana, it seems like the Kedushas Levi and other Talmidei Magid write something similar to Baal Shem, which he spoke about once and before, but it's a little bit different. And it's also in Siddur Pshapte. It's brought down a few different places, which is in a little bit different, but it's the same Nakuda, is that there are three places in the mikveh. There's the ground of the mikveh, there's the water in the mikveh, and there's the emergence out of the mikveh. And that's the three shemas. That's what it says in Kedushas Levi. That the Shem Aleph Dal Nun Yud is the karka, the ritzma mikveh, which means I'm going in with my problem. So even if you took off your levadim and you took off all these things, you still have. So I say, okay, I'm getting rid of all the issues that I have with these issues, but I still have an issue. So I still have parnos, I still have these things that have to be resolved. So I'm holding on to it. I'm saying, okay, that's the emes, that's what I have. I don't have the anxiety about it. I don't have all the pain about it. That's true, but there's something that needs to be resolved. That's the Shem Aleph Dal Nun Yud. That's where you're standing in the mikveh. Then you have to mechaven that or you or the mayim, the water around you, is Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei, which goes back to the kavana, which we said before, of the four tefillas, which is from the Reb Zusha, that the mechaven the Yud Kei Vav Kei is the fourth tefillah. So you're mechaven that the mayim is Ein Sof, which means that it's potential for everything. Everything is Ein Sof. So that's part of getting. Then the ikar is where the tahara of the mikveh comes when you're coming out. Al Gaga mikveh. When you're coming out of the water of the mikveh, tahara doesn't happen in the mikveh. Tahara comes when you're coming out of the mikveh. Because then you're not just saying I'm not that and I'm not this, but you're saying who am I? You're merging into the new you. The emergence of the new you in the Shem Eka, which is the Gaga mikveh, what the Baal Shem in this Torah, this Kavanah mikveh, the Baal Shem is fleshing out this Kavanah Shem Eka. That if you really want Mechav Shem Eka with tefillas and do with each Kavanah correctly, the first one, the Shem Eka, the second one, the third one, the Shem Aleph Lam Dal, the third one is the Shil of the entire thing, the possibility of the birth. The fifth one is actually the birthing of self, and when you emerge out of the mikveh and the birthing of self, you exit out of the mikveh, you have shleimus and you have everything that you need and all the brachas that you need, and you have a lichtige Shabbos. So this is the fifth. There's also 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. V'chulu. There's another time. Huh? There's a book on the Soida Mikvah. Huh? The Shai Tfilis. So the Shai Tfilis from the Malcham HaKodesh. This guy that brought down the Shai Tfilis. The Shai Tfilis, he writes very pashut. This is from Nicholas Lacheva. He writes very pashut. Kavanas Mikvah Bittul Yesh. Idea Shai Tfilis. Mevatam Yesh. Because Yesh is Shai. Shai is Yesh. So Mevatam Yesh. You want to go 310.
That's a thing.
No, that's a thing because people can, because yeah.
But it's a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's considered a tefillah?
Yeah, it's on the Pialacha, because if you go out to the...
It's not, because if you argue a Shorish and No days by mikvah.
So don't. So pick up your viz.
And if you're sticking out, you're still ugly in the mikvah.
No, pick up your
Good
yagel.
achos, right? The Gemara in Mishnah
Yeah.
says good achos.
Yeah.
So what if he sticks out? It's still good achos. He's still in
Das ist
the
aber was man noch steigt.
Yeah, but you can't be toiv with if you're silent enough.
After you toivel when you're wet, and it's
Oh, because you're wet. Ah, because it's a nitzuk. Okay, that's like an interesting question.
the Mishnah says.
Yeah.
So why would this mean anything? You're still in the mikvah.
Maybe you dry it.
That's why you need to be oily.
Avada, you need that. You have to be oily. Yeah. Okay, if you do shai tefillah, so, the real minig, then you'll do the whole thing.
What's the Ramat Valley for?
The Ramat Valley Shem Elet. Because I want to say because the 72 shemas is not mefursim what they mean. No one knows what they mean.
The what Shemus?
The 72 names of Hashem.
Yeah.
You familiar with this?
In the shower.
Mishalach, 3 psukim, vayet, vayet. There's no Messiah what they actually mean.
What they mean.
What they mean.
What they represent. Each
Well, what's Mechal the name? It's Hey Mem Yud. What's Mem Hey Shin? What do these names mean? So there's very few Mar Mekoimas for this. One of the Mar Mekoimas that I found for this, there's Sefer Cherev Piyas B'Yodam, which is written by the brother Klois from Chaim Tzanzer. So that Klois released a Sefer, and that Sefer is Cherev Piyas B'Yodam, and there it's the only Sefer that I think speaks about the Shemus. And it's not the whole thing; it's only like half of them. But here from Ramat Valley, I found that it also speaks a little bit about the Shemus. And Shem Eli writes the Shem Al Hamadal. The Baal Shem writes Shem Al Hamadal is also connected with the spheres because Aleph is Kesser, Lamed is the 3 kavim of the spheres. So all spheres are divided in 3 kavim: Chochmah and then Chesed and Netzach. So the 3 kavim, and Dal is Dal is Malchus. So he says that Aleph Hamadal is actually from Kesser to Malchus. But the kitzah, the Shem El is the birthing. And this is what you have from the Ramat Valley.
Interesting. I noticed that the Shem Aleph Lamed Gimel Aleph.
Yeah.
They all have Lamed. All of them are
It's the same.
Oh, Aleph has a Lamed.
Aleph Gimel.
Gimel has a Lamed. Oh, very good.
The Aleph
beginning,
Gimel
middle,
becomes
and
the
end.
Aleph.
Oh,
Aleph is in the middle.
yeah.
The Agla becomes
Lamed is in the beginning.
Yeah, Aleph.
Gimel. What are you saying?
the Aleph and the Gimel become the Dalet. It's the same thing. It's the same.
Yeah. But I'll be saying that there's a Lamed in everyone.
It's a Lamed in each one of them.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's interesting when you do the Yud Kei Vav Kei around, the Vav always ends up in the spine. Always behind. Either which way you go. If you do a Yud Kei Vav,
Yeah, Yud, hey, well, yeah.
either which way, the Vav is
Backwards.
always behind.
It's a spine, it's a spine.